Continuing on. Continuing on. I want to talk about the impending new year. Oh my god, that's fucking nauseating. Oh god, where do I even start? There's so much I want to say, and it's just all in my head. It's just vocalizing and verbalizing these things. Oof. I fucking hate that it's gonna be 2025 soon. Why? Because I have nothing to show for myself. That's not how I wanted to do this. I have nothing to show for myself. And I mean, with that statement, honestly, I could break that down. I could try to like break it piece by piece and be like, well, actually. But in a sense, I've had this overwhelming feeling that I have nothing to show for myself for this year. And it's already going to be the new year. And it's like, fuck, I wasted an entire year doing fucking nothing. Granted, 2023, I didn't really do fucking anything either. And it's just this like this how do I explain this abysmal feeling of just time slipping through your fingers, and it's like, what the fuck have I done? What the fuck have I done? I never expected to be here. And so part of me gives me like that little grace. Like, well, girl, we're supposed to be dead at like 12, so honestly, all this is just new territory for me. But I don't know, like, as much as I want to be understanding with myself and be kind to myself and be like, Hana, you survived. Yes, you really didn't do much of what you had wanted to do with this year. Honestly, just life, you had wanted to go a certain direction and life just took you to near the complete opposite. But you're still here. You're still here, and it does matter. Life might not have been the way that we anticipated, but still, it's going to continue, and it doesn't mean that we can't make it into something that we'd like, that we want of ourselves. That's what I want to tell myself. And even though part of me does feel that, as much as like I just wanted to express the the existential crisis that I've been having. I think honestly, this might be a contributor. I don't know. I might talk about this like later in the future. I think my antidepressants have kind of been helping me because like void of it, I think I would have had a really much more severe negative reaction to all this. Because when I think a lot, and I think of my mind just goes to the most negative places. Period. Hang on. I'm also very much encapsulated by this fear that what if, in spite of this fear and in spite of this shame and regret and frustration that I haven't done anything this past year, what if next year rolls around and I do fucking nothing? What if I don't learn my lesson and I just end up doing the same fucking thing and I'm just in the same exact position this time next year? And what if, however long I'm going to be on this earth, what if that's just how it's going to be? What if I'm too afraid and too comfortable and too lazy to actually produce change in my life? Give me 1 second. My little baby's tripping. I never expected to be here. I truthfully thought I was going to be gone at 12, 13. I've lived my life thus far. I'm 24 years old, never expecting to live a day live a day more. And so all of this is just like, whoa, what the fuck do I do? And I swear, the first time I saw like something on I saw it on Instagram, TikTok, where someone validated how I was feeling, like just it was something like, oh, like when you thought you'd be dead at when you were suicidal and depressed as a teen and you never thought you'd be here and now you live your life in this constant like um confusion and just like I'm wandering through this fucking wilderness and I don't know where the fuck I'm going because I never planned for a life that I never thought I'd live. And now every day is every all the time it's just like what the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing? But the truth is I don't know what I'm doing because I've never planned it because I never thought I'd be here. And now I'm at this point where I do think I do know what I want to do. I'd like to create, I'd like to share things with the world. And even this is like as mundane and stupid and inconsequential as it is, like I'd like to share how I feel with the world. And that's the conclusion I came upon almost like a year and a half ago ish. And yet my attempts have been sporadic. I think only like besides these past like 1, 2-ish months, like this entire year, I didn't really do anything. Why? Because I was too afraid. I was too lazy. I essentially the most pivotal thing was that I was too afraid. As much as I craved change, I didn't want change. And I feel like that's going to be my dilemma for however long I'm going to live is the the struggle between comfortability and versus what I want. Even though essentially I live my life very unhappy and unfulfilled and miserable because I'm not doing what I want to be doing. And yet the effort to do it sometimes is too much. And then I'm lazy and I just go about living out the same days, living out the same life. Yet I'm miserable. As much as I want it, I don't want it. And I'm afraid like what if I'm just what if I'm just doing the same exact thing this time next year and I've once again nothing to show for myself. And it's odd because like in my head like I'm some things I'm popping up like throughout this year that I've gone through and it's like well those are pretty significant and yet I find myself like debasing them and devaluing them like no it's not that it doesn't matter those it's not it doesn't matter as much like I'm reducing and I'm diminishing the experiences and what I've gone through because of that feeling of inadequacy but it's like yeah I mean we did go through some stuff. Most of it was just floundering and, basking in our sadness, of course, but that's just gonna how it's gonna that's just how it's be. That's just how it's gonna be, I guess. And with that fear of like, what if I don't do anything with my life? I find it's very paralyzing because part of me like it prompts me to want to do more as much as like it paralyzes me in that feeling of like what if I can't, I have nothing to like show for myself thus far that I can do that, so what if I can't, so I'm just in this state of like flight or like flight or fight. I don't know how to explain it, like I'm just like in this freeze position. Yeah, just that feeling of like what if this is just who I am in spite of all my attempts and my wants to be more and to do more with my life. What if this is just how it is? This is just how it's gonna be. And I don't quite know how to feel about that, honestly. I don't quite like who I am, honest. I don't quite like who I am. I like and I don't like the person that I am. And I think I'm gonna do a separate thing on this. Is like I realize that I I'm more unhealed than I thought I was. It's really funny and ironic how like I used to be in my friend groups, like I used to be like the therapist friend. I always like giving my friends advice, like just the person to talk to. And I always be like, you need to heal. You need to like heal from what you've gone through to not project it on other people, or blah 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 blah. And I stand as the most unfucking healed person or version of myself to exist. It's like I've gone through and I've moved on as much as I haven't. As much as like the things that I've gone through have very much impacted who I am, consciously or unconsciously. I don't try as much. And this is I just did a video on like Christmas and holidays and stuff. But I mentioned also like that feeling of like I don't try as much with anything, with the holidays or just in my life or anything in general. I don't do as much. And that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's both. It's always going to be both. When I was a people pleaser and I cared more about the notions and dispositions about other people more than mine, I had more people. I had more people, and yet, arguably, I was the things that I did really what I wanted to do? I don't quite know. I don't quite know because it was never really about me. And now I'm at this point where, okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't talk to nobody. I don't talk to nobody. 2 3 years ago, I was extremely social. I was the most social I ever was in my life. I had a big friend group. I'm very thankful, even still to this day, for having those experiences and being with those people. And it just fell apart, and I don't talk to anybody. I don't. I'm very acclimated and familiar with loneliness and being alone. As much as like I know it's not really that good to always be by yourself. That's where I am. I have troubles responding to for people. I don't show up for people, and I don't put it and much effort into the relationships that I do have anymore. I I just have this feel I have this pervasive feeling of like I like the person who I am as equally as much as like I see myself, and there's things I do not like. There's things that I am that I never quite thought I used to be. I'm more distrustful of people. I'm so much more distrustful of people. I don't do as much for people. I There is that like wall when I am with people, and it never quite goes away. And I think of the past hurts that I've had, and those really did impact me. My past relationship really fucked me over, honestly. And even the people that have been around me, I don't trust as much. I don't like how I'm so much more negative. I'm more cynical. As much as I'm more optimistic, I'm more cynical about things. And it's very odd. It's a very fucking odd conundrum to be in. I'm in a better job. I make more money than where I was last year, which is good. Um I mean, the past couple weeks I haven't been that great, but like I'm trying compared to last year, I have more hobbies that I try to do more. Um I have more of a structure. I know more the things that like help me feel better because I've accepted the fact that I'm going to always kind of feel like shit and miserable and depressed for however long I'm going to be on this earth. But I think I know more of the things that like help me. And I think I know more on how to live with it than I used to. And also something is that I'm back on my antidepressants. I tried them back in 2022 for like a few months, but I was very on and off with them. I didn't really believe it, and I was very much like I didn't want to accept help. I felt like with my mental health, I was like I can deal with it. I can take care of it. I don't need some fucking pill. Like how is that going to help me with all that I'm feeling? And I still haven't gone to therapy, even though now I'm at the position where I've accepted the fact that like I need help. And does that make me a weak ass fucking bitch? Probably. but I need fucking help. I have tried to solo this by myself and it's not been good. Like, if this can help me with my life in any margin, any facet, then I have to take it. Let me have the experience rather than never trying at all. So I've been on my antidepressants for, I'd say, like about a month or so. And I do think there is a difference. I also am taking something for anxiety as well. So I take those like every single day. And I think that does help me. I do think it does make a difference. And also, I'm cutting back on my smoking, even though, the past, Christmas Eve, Christmas, thus far, like I've smoked a bit more. But I know I need to regulate it and balance it. I'm trying to read more. I'm trying to practice my hobbies more. I'm trying to do more of the things that like make me happy. And that's not always going to be all the time. That's not always going to be every day. But yeah, I honestly I don't even know where I was going with this. Like, there's pros and cons with where I'm at thus far. I wish I was better at reaching out to people. I wish I was better at responding to people and um, showing up for the people in my life. It's like you get so familiar and just used to just like being by yourself and just that it's hard to break out of that and reach out to people, whether it's like seeing them in person or like just texting them, calling them. And I wish I showed up for more of my relationships. I wish I spoke more to my family, because every time I do, it's like fuck. Like, it's sad how the people that you spend your life with, like all your life with, and as a kid, and then now you're an adult, and you'll hear them like a few times a year, every so often. So I wish I was better at that. I wish I was better at reaching out to my friends. I wish I was better at I wish I didn't run away from myself so much. There's things that I'm better at facing, and there's things that it's like I'll acknowledge, and then because I don't really want to fully acknowledge it, because then it'll send me into a spiral, I don't really like have it envelop myself. I'll like turn the other cheek and I'll be blind, like willfully ignorant about it. I have no idea what the point of all this is. Honestly, it's kind of like alleviating to talk about these things. Yeah. I lost my baby this year. Not my baby, but like my baby birdie. And so it was my first Christmas without her. So in the past like 8 years, I had 8 years with her. And then my one baby, she's in my room, but it was our first Christmas like by ourselves. So honestly, that makes me sad, even just thinking about it. Next year it's gonna be the same, or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just be me. Oh, oh boy. Honestly, I don't really know what the point, or like where I'm at. Like, I feel in ways I feel content, as much as there's things that like I wish were different, of my life, of myself. And perhaps that's just how it's always going to be. Maybe that feeling of inadequacy will always be there, amidst the feeling of some things are better. Does one outweigh the other? I don't quite know. I'm going to be 25 in a few months. And that's really fucking nauseating. Like, literally, I feel like sick. I feel like in my stomach's like starting to like, ugh, like, ooh, 25. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Ooh. What is it? There's something on my screen. Oh. Oh, okay. To be honest, I don't quite know. I feel numb. I know I've like said this like 3 times already, but like I feel numb as much as I feel okay as much as I don't feel okay. And yet there's that pervasive feeling of like heaviness and numbness. Like I feel these things, but it doesn't consume me as much as like they used to. I hope I don't run away from my wrongs or things that I've done to hurt people. I hope I reach out to people. I hope I'm less afraid. I hope I do more of the things that make me happy, even if it's not instinctively the thing that I want to do first. I hope I choose the hard thing, the difficult thing. Maybe not every single day, but perhaps a bit more than last year, than this past year. I hope I learn from my mistakes. I hope I hope I don't get so fixated on who I used to be and who I am now, and in all the inadequacies that I feel of now as a person. And I feel like a much reduced version of myself, that we have the capacity to change who I was 5, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1 years ago, etc., is different, and that doesn't mean that I can change, perhaps for the better. And even though better is a, you know, individualistic notion, I hope I try to right my wrongs. I hope I try to reach out more. I hope I'm less afraid. I think that's my biggest thing. Is I hope I'm less afraid. I hope I do more of what makes my soul thrive, because I feel like I know what that is now, as much as I'm very afraid to admit it. It consumes my mind as much as I'm actually afraid of it, and yet it's all that I want and want to do with my life. And so, thus far, I don't think I may not ever really become the person that I want to be in my life, but I guess all that matters is the attempt, be it big or small. All we can do is try. I guess it really is all that, isn't there? There is no big miracle or, you know, life altering like thing that we can do, and it'll instantaneously change everything that we are, everything that we feel, everything that we experience. I hope I'm more kind to myself. I hope I don't run away from myself. Ugh, 2025. Honestly, this has been quite therapeutic for me, I will say. I still feel like tangibly the anxiety and the stress of the impending year and just everything that I feel, but I'm trying to acknowledge it as much as I'm trying to also let it go. And so I think it is helping. I hope that whoever is watching this, that you also give yourself the grace to also live, to be, as well to also try to become the version of yourself that you'd like to be. And not out of a place of hatred and content content contempt of who you are, but rather as simply evolving and becoming the next version of yourself. I hope you're more kind to yourself. I hope you give yourself the grace to be, but also we push ourselves. It may not be all the time, but even in sporadic moments. Where will we all be a year from now? I have no fucking clue, but life's just gonna go on. It is. It's shitty as fuck, but life is gonna go on. We're all gonna get older. Life's always gonna change. And yet, in the confines of everything, we find moments, I guess, that make life a bit more bearable. Yeah. I gotta go to work. That doesn't make my life really more bearable. I'm such a hypocrite. Well, life will go on, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? For better, for worse, life will go on. I'll try to take care of me. I don't know. I can't promise much, but I'll try to take care of me. Try to take care of you. Yeah. Take care.